and welcome to another installment of the Las Vegas Advisor Jackpot series. Thank you for sending in all of your jackpots. It has been a thrill to read through all these. What do you think, Anthony?
Again, it's amazing. Wait till you hear some of these today. You know, I mean, the hardest part is trying to figure out which ones do we do now and which do we do next week, you know, that sort of thing. You know, again, if you don't see yours, send them in. We've got one in this show that goes back to 2023.
Okay.
Somebody sent it in 2023. I was going through the archives, going through the list, found it, said, boy, this is a good one, stuck it in there. So, you know, keep your heads up and keep your hopes up. You'll get in here.
Well, the other thing is, how many hours do you think you spent on this episode, Anthony?
Jeez, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. It's like, this is of the different things we do. The easiest is Beer Friday, obviously.
Yes.
We do that live. We drink beer. We don't care.
That's probably the most fun.
Yeah, this is the hardest.
Yeah.
I mean, this one requires just a lot of looking and reading and picking out and trying to get everything straight. But I like these shows. I mean, we're just going to keep doing them and keep sending in those jackpots.
That's right. And if you don't know where to send your jackpots, here, right there, that's the email address.
Yep. Okay, let's get started.
This one is called Right Place, Right Time, and it comes to us from Andrew C. I am all for odds and strategy when it comes to gambling, but this one made me think of when luck, timing, and other factors are involved. I was at the Flamingo, and I had 2 comped tickets to the high roller observation wheel. Fun. I printed out the necessary voucher, but I decided to go later in the week, which meant I had to exchange it at the Total Rewards booth. When I went to the booth, I was told that the manager had to approve it, but I was on a break for a few minutes, and while waiting, I decided to play a nearby nickel spin poker. Fun also. But someone beat me to it. I went to the quarter machine. About 5 minutes in, I hit a royal flush for $1,000. That would have never happened if I'd waited until I knew what was going on to print out the voucher. The Total Rewards manager was there and took care of it then, and someone didn't beat me to the other machine that I actually wanted.
Yeah. So circumstances.
Yeah.
Right?
He got pushed into the right game.
Yeah. So his question is, how important is it to be playing right when it's really all about luck?
Right.
And it really is. I mean, there's a couple of things in this. You know, first of all, when we talk about the RNG, the random number generator, always going. It's just, you know, if you get distracted for a second and walk over and hit the jackpot, if you hadn't been distracted, you wouldn't have hit that jackpot.
That's right.
You might have hit another jackpot, but you would not have hit that one because it would have moved. You know, this is when we go to people going, hey, you hit my jackpot. You took my jackpot. No, you didn't take your jackpot because you would have had to hit that thing at the exact same time.
The millisecond,
It's highly unlikely. You'd have been moving around, who knows?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's true. It's like, it just has to happen through luck. However, far more important is strategy and playing correctly and finding good schedules. And this is going to keep you in the game longer and longer and longer until you hit that exact point when you hit the RNG right.
That's right.
So your answer to your question is that strategy and playing properly and doing the right things is more important. But yes, if those things hadn't happened, you would not have hit that $1,000 jackpot.
I like the perspective of fate. It's like he's getting shoved in the right direction.
Yeah,
you know?
we can look at it like that too.
And in this jackpot, it's called Bonus Poker Variations with Joe and Sherilyn W. At the very end of the last Jackpots show, you displayed 2 8-5 bonus poker games. One featured 4-of-a-kind payouts for aces on down. The other did not. Would you please explain the difference?
Yeah, this is something you're going to run into a lot. You know, there's so many variations of video poker games.
Yeah.
And the first one he's talking about was the standard traditional. It was a 7-5 with the different payoffs for, you know, bonus quads, you know, for deuces through 4s, through 8 for aces, you know, that sort of thing. The second one lumps all of them into one, lumps all of the quads into one payment of 30 coins.
Right.
All right. So, but you'll notice in the second one, it has 8-5 instead of 7-5. So it's kind of a way almost to trick the customer to go, whoa, this is a better game because it's 8-5 instead of 7-5. But the fact that it pays a uniform 30 makes it a lesser game. All right, so it goes from, let's say that 8-5 game, they think it's a 99.17%, but with the 30 coin uniform payoff, it falls to 98.48.
Okay.
Under the 99%. Now, here's the interesting thing. Some of those games pay 35 uniformly. And on that same 8-5 game, if you find one that pays 35, now it's better.
Goes slightly ahead.
Yeah. And so that one is 99.66%.
Right.
So that's the way it goes. When you're playing, that's the difference between the games that we showed. When you're playing 8-5, when you're playing bonus poker of any kind, if it pays 30 uniform, that's worse than the standard. And if it pays 35, that's better.
Right. And your question is something that is really always something that comes up in a lot of different ways. People talk about pay schedules and how to find the best pay schedule and what it means. And it leads us towards the Gene Scott scouting guide.
Yeah, the scouting guide's really good for that. But it's important to... It's hard sometimes to read schedules. I mean, I actually made a mistake in the previous last month when we did this, and somebody brought it to my attention that I had analyzed a double bonus game as if it were 9-6 instead of 9-5.
Right.
All right. So they corrected me, and I agreed. And it's okay. Correct me if you find an error. Correct me. And if you go back and you read that, you'll see in the comments that I agreed and I put the proper numbers up there.
Right. It's a lot of nuance to these pay schedules.
And one more thing, somebody brought up about the difference in the bonus poker. The second one was a sequential royal flush.
Oh, nice.
So take a look at that, and you can see the sequential that was dealt. That's very rare.
There's always a little extra thrill if you can get a sequential royal flush.
How would you know? I don't know either.
I wouldn't know from personal experience. Now, this one's really cool. It's rare that you get to see one this big. This one comes from our buddy, the Crack Man, Bill Krackenberger. This photo was taken from a few years back at Barona Valley in California. I've been there. The guy was playing $12.50 per hand. That's $1,250 a spin.
Wow. I mean, there's not much to say about this. So Crack didn't hit this.
Right.
Somebody else hit this.
Right.
And as he says, they're playing $12.50 a hand. You can see from the photo they were playing triple-double bonus. At Barona, that triple-double bonus game, Barona is just a great gambling house. 99.58% return.
Really?
Yeah, better than Jacks are better 9-6 Jacks are better if you know how to play it. Even at that, he's losing like for that amount, he's only losing an EV if he's playing it perfectly, only about $6 per hand.
Okay.
But I mean, take a look at that. I mean, that's quite amazing. Can you imagine you're playing $25 10 play and you line up on the bottom, you line up the royal flush.
Incredible.
Yeah, $1 million payoff. I don't think I've seen that before.
Never. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, had to use it. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. I say thanks to the Crack Man. Okay. All right. This one's really fun. We call it the Hiker Jackpot from our buddy, David Crabtree, who's a regular viewer and a contributor to the show.
Yep.
He says, I hit for $13,800. So going back to the UK with $10,000, having had my room and food paid for by MGM. What a great vacation.
I'll say.
Yeah.
Well, on the image of this, it doesn't show, but he won $13,800. So I'm not sure, when he took this, but apparently he won $13,800. It was there's an interesting backstory to this, that one of the reasons we use it. One is that David is like getting to be a regular.
Okay, let's hear
it.
The
guy at Cheers, comes in all the time.
Yeah.
He's always on our Beer Friday, always commenting, always good to hear from him.
Everybody knows his name.
Yes, at Crabtree.
Yeah.
And he had walked from Caesar's Palace to the office. And he told me when he got here, he says, tell your listeners not to do that.
Yes.
There's two ways you can go from Caesar's. You can go out the back way underneath you have to walk over a ways, and then you go underneath the bridge.
Okay.
And then you walk up Twain.
Interesting.
You can do that, or you can go around the front and you walk over the freeway.
Now I see people do that a lot.
Yeah, and that's rough when it's hot out. You
Yes.
know? I mean, it's not dangerous per se, except that there's cars going all the time. But it's a little, it's hot, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what, Anthony? It's funny because when you drive over Flamingo, when you're coming from the Las Vegas Strip, coming to your office or going to the Palms or the Rio or the Gold Coast, which is right near our office. I drive around there all the time. I see people crossing over the highway and I go, God, that looks terrible. Who would do that? But the other day I was talking to some tourists and they said that they were going to walk from the link and they were going to walk over to the Rio. And I said, well, you really should take a cab. You know, people have a terrible time walking over the freeway. You shouldn't do that. I go, oh no, we do it every year. We love it. We love walking over the freeway. So
it can be done, but there's also the back way. But you know what? I wanted to bring up something about David. He has a YouTube video so this is public, and I can say this. And he sent me the link to the video. He was what they call a street drinker.
Okay.
All right. This was in the UK. And he was an alcoholic, and he lost his job, and he lost his family, and he was in really bad straits. And this thing, it was like professionally produced. He was on some sort of a show, tells his story. It's really compelling. And one day he looked at himself and he cleaned up, and he got a job as I guess they call him a sponsor for people who have the same problem.
Right.
And one of the people that he sponsored, or one of the people that was he was a coach to or whatever, helping, had a business that he was and he was an alcoholic, but he had built a business, and he sold the business to David. David took the business over. It was like a senior home, and he made a success out of it.
Incredible.
To the point where he's a successful businessman. He has enough money to travel to Vegas and play, somewhat of a high roller.
Yeah,
and
it's a high
hit
level.
a jackpot like this. And we're going to put a link to it. And I think it's something worth watching. I was moved by it. I had no idea in meeting him. And it's just an example of how people can clean up their lives.
Hey guys, it's Andrew from the Las Vegas Advisor, reminding you to click on the link in the description box below to get your 2025 Member Rewards coupon book. Food coupons, gambling coupons, all kinds of cool stuff to do in that Member Rewards coupon book. You can also use the code word Andrew for a minus $5 discount off of your Member Rewards book. Link in the description box below. All right, and this one we call Jackpot was influenced. So it comes to us from Eric W., and he says, after seeing Vegas Matt on your show, I started following him and saw him win a crazy amount on a slot machine called Spare Parts. I don't know that one.
Oh, he said he called it Spare Parts.
Oh, he called it Spare Parts.
He just dubbed it Spare Parts.
Interesting. Okay, we'll have to find that episode. The game, anyway, was at El Cortez. And he says it's on his next trip to Vegas. He was staying at the Mandalay Bay, but he got an Uber to the El Cortez for the sole purpose of seeing if he could find Vegas Matt in action. He said Vegas Matt wasn't there that day, but I remembered the Spare Parts game, and I walked around for about 45 minutes until I found it. I put in $100. I was down about 50, and then on my $6 bet, I hit this. The El Cortez was great. They gave me free ice cream and a bottle of wine while I was waiting for my first ever hand pay. I never would have gone downtown or played this machine if I didn't watch Vegas Matt.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Well, this one I've got to be a little bit of a negative Nelly on this one.
Okay.
Right?
Let's talk about why.
He hit for 5250.
Uh-huh.
But look, Vegas, we dig Vegas Matt.
Yeah.
Right? We had him on. We got 140-something thousand people viewed it. It was great for our show.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about Vegas Matt being in our new book.
That's right, the Advantage Players.
And he's a good guy. I like his crew and everything else. But with all the influencers, you have to be careful because people will do that. They'll watch them play something, do well, and go, ooh, that must be an easy game. Mm-hmm. And it's not. They show, what I like about Matt is they show when they lose, they show when they win. But if you catch them winning, it's just because of the variance of the game.
That's right.
So this guy came down, he followed him down, he played this game, he won 52-50.
Yes.
But realistically, you don't want to watch the influencers and go try to replicate what they're doing.
Right.
Because they are, like I said, I was gonna bring this up. Vegas Matt, there's a chapter in our book, Advantage Players by Michael KAPLAN, who, by the way, our next interview show is with Michael KAPLAN.
That's right. Michael KAPLAN's coming in to interview with us.
And the name of that chapter is The Man Who Wins by Losing.
Okay. How does that work?
Well, because Matt loses, this came out in the interview with him. He loses overall a lot, but he makes more money on the platform on YouTube and all the different things that he does.
Merch, all that good stuff.
Right. So you've got to be careful that, of like being Pied Pipered in, right? You don't want to be Pied Pipered in to be playing these games thinking you're going to have that same result, although it sure worked out this time for Eric W.
And as you always say, Anthony, as a rule of thumb, slot machines are probably the worst odds in the casino.
Well, among the worst.
Yeah.
And because when you put their speed together with their bad odds, when you put all that together, like Keno is far worse, but regular Keno, for example, is not near as fast. Although video Keno is pretty fast.
Sure, it can.
Yeah, but slot machines are even faster. So yeah, very dangerous.
Right, and that Keno does have a speed dial, and sometimes people like myself like to get it to the highest speed.
No, dial it down, bro.
I know. That's the good advice. All right, and now we move on to the Jackpots lightning round, where we're going to probably talk a little bit less about each jackpot, but we're going to get into it.
Yeah, we're going to do more, and less analysis, less chatter, and that's how you out there can get in this, because we're going to keep trying to add more to the lightning round. So what's number one?
This is really interesting. It's called the Simultaneous Royals Dean N from Dean N. And I guess there's also a husband and wife team. Okay, so husband and wife playing side by side hit at the same time, playing at the Reno casino not named. What happened?
Apparently, they were sitting next to one another.
Okay.
And they hit simultaneously. Later, in what he wrote to us, he said, "I don't even know who was first."
That's hilarious.
So it's not like he hit or she hit, and the other was like, "Wow, that's great." And they played a hand or two, and then boom, I hit it too.
Yeah.
They both went, "Ah!"
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't even know which one was first.
That's
Interestingly,
incredible.
they're both playing 9-6 jacks or better. That's Reno for you.
Okay.
Reno, good games. I mean, I would take a guess, maybe El Dorado or something like that in Reno. They got 9-6 games. The first one doesn't say who played what. The break even on the 9-6 is 1,220. They were playing at 1,300 something, so they're actually playing a positive game.
Oh, wow.
All
Okay.
right? So nice job on the simultaneous Royals.
That's amazing, and it makes you think what kind of song was playing, what kind of energy was going on. Some people think that, some people don't,
You think that mattered?
I do. Now, this one's really cool. It comes to us from John D., and it's entitled very simply, First Hand Pay. He usually plays blackjack, but he tried slots, wasn't feeling it, moved to this weird cow game, in quotes. What's the weird cow game?
I don't know. I thought you would know that.
Well, it's probably Moolah, Planet Moolah.
Planet Moolah. Okay, I like that. He called it the weird cow game.
Yeah.
Right, and he hits his first Royal, $1,422.
There we go.
And this is back to what we talked about, that RNG thing. That he's usually a blackjack player, hardly ever plays. Decided to move, went to another one, right, the cow game. Went to another one, sat down, and hit the RNG just right, and no skill there. But congratulations, first hand pay.
And this one is titled "My Biggest Win" by Linda W. I hit Jewel of the Dragon for $18,631 at Harrah's in Laughlin.
Okay, Laughlin, nice place to go. She's playing $1.80 per hand. She said she had also hit, playing the same game, she had hit two other jackpots for around $1,500 each.
Well, that'll give you the feeling that you're playing a hot machine.
She said different machine.
Oh, it's a different machine.
Same game. No, maybe not. Maybe it was same machine. I don't know. I don't think it was clear. But congratulations, Linda. Big win. She says she's been playing for a long time and never hit anything like that.
Yeah, $1.80 to $18,000. That's incredible.
Bang.
This one we call LVA Premium by Jim P. Jim was playing his LVA free play at Ellis Island and hit a royal flush on his second hand. Still on bonus, he hit quad aces. Good investment in the LVA.
Okay, so he played his free play. You got a coupon there where you get to spin, and the minimum you get is $10 free play. You could get up to 1,000. We don't know what he got. Probably 10, probably 20. So while he's playing the free play off, he hits the royal flush.
Wow!
And before he finishes playing his free play, he hits the aces. All right, and get a look. Check out the quad. He didn't hold the ace. He held a jack.
That's crazy.
And the aces came around it.
Yeah, that's really funny. Got the jack right in the middle.
All right, so another big winner on $50 investment for LVA. Coupon book, played as 10, made some money.
Well, Anthony, this one's really to marvel at, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
This is one of the most fun video poker games. People love to play it. It's 100 play. It comes to us from Jeff B. You can do a lot of different denoms on this one, but Jeff's just playing a penny.
It's playing pennies, but that's still $5 a hand.
That's right.
And so it's like playing single line dollars.
Yeah.
Less variance because of the way the 100 play works. We won't get into that right now. But still, he's not a low roller. But can you imagine seeing that thing come out? You've got, even though you're making $40 on every hand.
Yeah.
but you see you're going to make it 100 times.
Wow.
You'll make 4K on this. So that was pretty good. He's got also sent us a video. If you want to watch that video, we're going to link to it in the description box.
And this one we call 2 Royals in 3 hands, sent to us from Brian H. He was using free play at an Indiana casino, moved to another machine while waiting for the paperwork, and he hit another Royal flush. So there you go.
I've kind of heard of that happening before.
Yeah.
This one's kind of crazy. So he hits the Royal flush, decides he wants to, they're bringing the paperwork. He moves over and starts playing again.
Yep.
The first hand he played, he got 4 to the Royal.
Wow.
The second hand he played, he hit again.
It's hilarious.
On dollars, 4,000 each time.
That's a nice day, Brian.
Who does that?
Brian H.
Brian H. does that.
All right. And we are going to conclude with Mike C. And this one's called Thanks Mom. So thanks Mom from Mike C. Mike regularly takes his 84-year-old mom to the Falls View Casino in Niagara Falls, Canada. She plays Deuces Wild. He usually watches, but took a walk and played a spin penny machine. And look what happened.
Made a $1 bet, hit for 8,457.
Incredible.
And good for you taking your mom to play. He said she likes to play Deuces Wild video poker, and he decided to plunk some money into a slot machine.
People got to remember, gambling is sometimes a way to just get close to mom.
Took mom out. Good karma.
And that's it for this month's Jackpot Show. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Again, there's the email address. If you have hit a jackpot or have a fun jackpot story, please send it in. We want to hear from you. Anything to add, Anthony?
Yeah, spread the word about this one.
Mm-hmm.
This show, like I said, it is a bear to put together.
Yeah.
But it's just good. There's lessons. There's fun. Keep sending the jackpots. We're going to get you on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of camaraderie. And I can't tell you, since we started the show, I have a lot of friends out there. Our buddy Jackpot Jared. People send me jackpots to my phone now. They just send it like, hey, Andrew, look.
It's amazing in the big scheme of all the different things that happen, all the wildness that comes out of these things. It's just something to behold, I'll tell you.
Jackpot.